Hello, how are you today? So I thought I would give us a short overview of some of the yogas that are out there today. So yoga by definition is the union of the mind, the body, and the breath. And really, interestingly enough, a lot of us do yoga for our body, and that's great. The most important aspect of yoga really is the mind. So in Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, it says in Sutra 1, number 2, the reason we do yoga is to cease the fluctuations of the mind. We know how challenging that is. So let's start with the types of yoga that are popular today for the physical aspect that might lead us into the mental benefits and aspects of yoga eventually, like meditation, breathing practices. Vinyasa is the most popular form of yoga, and Vinyasa means to flow on the breath. So you could have a slow flow class, you could have a hot power class, which is a form of Vinyasa. There's quite a range in that. It is the most popular form of yoga, as I already said, and it's actually an outgrowth of Ashtanga yoga. And Ashtanga yoga and Iyengar yoga are both pretty legitimate, strong forms of yoga that branched off from each other in that Ashtanga was created for healthy teenage boys and is very rigorous and has 6 specific series. And the first series in itself is very strong and helps us open up our hips and prepare our body for the second series, which is back bends, and takes quite a bit of time to work on. With this one, if you are not that flexible and not that strong, it can help you become more flexible and strong. However, my experience with that yoga, which I've done since 1999, is that people have to be really mindful of the knees because of the hip work. If you push your hips too hard in the wrong way, it'll affect your knees. And also the shoulders, because there's 50 chaturangas per series 1, which is a lot of yoga push-ups for the shoulders. So Vinyasa, an offshoot of Ashtanga. Iyengar is a type of yoga, not a series at all, a type of yoga that I really enjoy, especially as I'm getting older. And it is also from Krishnamacharya, who gave to Mr. Iyengar, or Mr. Iyengar developed something quite different with a lot of the same poses you find in Ashtanga. Mr. Iyengar was a sickly young man who really healed himself with yoga, became very, very strong and a master yogi. And he is the one that offered props and developed props to help him get stronger. And so Iyengar is very anatomically based. It is really good to do to learn the form and to not avoid injury and to also help yourself if you do have injuries. So I love Iyengar yoga. I think it's also one that you can do as you get older because it moves slowly. And actually, Ashtanga doesn't necessarily move quickly. It shouldn't. You hold each posture about 5 breaths, and the breath is really important in yoga. Depends on how it's taught, however. And then there's Kundalini, which we offer at Soul House, which I love very much, and I've been doing since the mid-'80s. Your eyes are closed. You focus to the third eye. We incorporate breathing, sound, movements, and static holds, and it works the energy systems, it works the chakras. At this point, I might want to mention that all forms of yoga actually work the chakras, and that's pretty exciting because these are energy channels along the spine, which relate to different nerve plexi, to different glands, to different internal organs. And so the chakra system is a really fascinating system in yoga that helps us understand why yoga helps us heal from the inside. So what are some other forms of yoga? I don't want to make this too long, but those are really popular ones. Vinyasa, Ashtanga, Iyengar. What is Hatha yoga? Hatha yoga really just means the physical branch of yoga. So any type of yoga that you do that has a physicality to it would be Hatha yoga. However, it's often associated here in the West, where we are, with slower, more gentle forms of yoga. And so if you see a Hatha yoga class on a schedule, that might be what you get. A form of Hatha that I hadn't known until one of our teachers at Soul House brought it is Hridaya yoga. So that is a form of Hatha yoga. So are there different forms of Hatha yoga out there? But basically, Hatha yoga is a slower form and a physical form of yoga. We also teach at Soul House Restorative and Yin, and we offer Nidra. And Restorative and Yin and Nidra are all much more relaxing. And I'm not going to get into them in too much detail right now, but again, Restorative uses props, is an offshoot of Iyengar, hold the poses for a really long time, very supported, really good for us in these fast-paced times we live in to learn to slow down and heal. And then yin, we hold the poses a bit too. We look for a little bit more of a stretch in the yin. It works a lot on the connective tissue. Nidra is actually a guided meditation that helps our brain go into a place where we can absorb what's called a sankalpa, a resolve, and helps us with certain things that we wish to accomplish in our lives. Might be better health. It might be, for me, for a few years, it was a creative project, and I eventually self-published my memoir and continue to hope to write more in the world. So that's something I like to do creatively. And so you create a sankalpa so that you can live up to your fullest potential. So those are some of the main forms of yoga you'll find out there. There are many other forms of yoga. One that I particularly like is Dharma yoga. I've been studying with Dharma since 1999. He amazes me. As I share this in April of 2023, I'm recording this. He is turning in May, I believe, 85 or 86 years old. He can still do things physically I cannot ever do, and also just has that magic spiritual energy to himself. So works with the breath and all the things, bringing it back to the definition, that are the union of the mind, the body, and the breath. So I hope this helps you unravel a little bit. What are the different types of yoga? And that will help you lead into perhaps a practice that works for you. One other thing I want to say that I read many years ago in Yoga Journal, which I think is super helpful: moving in and out of yoga poses quickly is where you harm yourself. So if you find yourself not exactly aligned in a pose, that's not terrible. It's better to be aligned. It's moving in and out that can harm you. So in the faster forms of yoga, be careful of moving in and out of poses, and see if you can find a teacher that really pays attention to how you line your feet up, your knees up, your hips up, your arms up, your head up, and so that your body is in the best form possible. Okay, well, thanks very much. Enjoy your yoga practice. I hope it helps you to cease the fluctuations of your mind. I'm still working on that one. But if not at least we get more focused, we get more clarity, we get more calm, and we like life a lot better, and we get through our challenges a lot better. Have a great day. I'm going to shut this off now. Take care. Namaste.